कि हमारी आन पर आँच आई है, हमारी कश्मीरियत को आँच आई है, हमें बिल्कुल नंगा कर दिया है। एंड इट हैज़ रियली हिट देयर दिस प्राइड। दहशतगर्दी बंद करो। It was not earlier possible to call a person as दहशतगर्द. They were called as militants, not the terrorists. Now they said दहशतगर्दी बंद करो, दहशतगर्दों को यहाँ से निकालो. Can't you appreciate that the change, the feel the people have got, the sympathies people have got?
How did the terrorists reach that place?
I think had I been in command, I would have put a block on this site. The first thing was that failure, that they failed to put a block somewhere on Mati governance.
You really believe there's no local support for this incident? The Pahalgam attack in Baisaran Valley has shaken everybody to the core. People across India are in mourning, and people in Kashmir are raising the Tiranga in their hands and protesting and saying that we condemn this act. But has this been the only attack on civilians in Jammu and Kashmir lately? No. The only thing is that public memory is pretty short. In Jammu region, there has been many such incidents where civilians and especially non-local civilians have been on the target. Is this a change in the modus operandi of terrorists? To talk about this and to understand why such an unfortunate incident happened in Jammu and Kashmir at this time, I have with me former IPS officer and somebody who has led multiple anti-terror operations in Jammu and Kashmir, Raja Aijaz Ali. You've led many anti-terror operations in Jammu and Kashmir, and you know this terrain through and through, and you know the way these terrorists operate pretty well. That's why I believe that it was important that I ask you this question. This Pahalgam incident that has happened right now, what do you think about it? Why now? And why Kashmir? And why specifically in Pahalgam in such a way that you ask people, are you a Hindu or a Muslim? And then you shoot them dead.
It's not for the first time. Well, as you said, the first thing I must express is it is directly an attack on the Kashmiriyat soul, the culture, the Kashmiriyat, what we inherit, what we proudly talk of. It's the real attack of that one. Earlier in start of 90s, when they planned the same thing, and they very effectively executed it also with the Kashmiri Pandits, our brethren who left this place. They were forced to leave this place. That time also the same ideology was used. We had to take the brunt. Till now, I think we are unable to, justify in our society. Wherever they talk, they say Kashmiri Muslims couldn't protect them, and Kashmiri Muslims made them to flee from that place. Everybody knows who did it, but we are to be blamed. We are being blamed till now for that one. Similarly, this is the second occasion now when they have again got they assaulted our this Kashmiriyat, and this time with a bigger aim. Every time a VVIP, a foreign dignitary, visited the country, they wanted to create such a big catastrophe to register with them that there is a problem, that it still remains as an issue to be settled.
So you think it was the visit of...
You see, it was, the circumstances were like that. And the second thing, that Prime Minister of India was welcomed by Saudi Arabia, and he had already made a dent in the Muslim countries, and this time he was to go and discuss with this on the invitation of the Saudi prince. And it was an occasion, because you are always known when the Saudi Arabia hosts you. That means there is something good coming up, and maybe they might have had the pre-information also about what the issues to be discussed there and what decisions they could have taken. This was also a situation building up. And third thing was, which was again a compulsion, that in rest of the world they had started appreciating that the Kashmir has started settling down, and the people of Kashmir have reconciled to the things, and they have started rethinking, and they have decided rather finally that our future is safe and secure with the India. And they were also trying to come up, and this was lot of land order control and everything. So this was on our front. in the front of our valley or our on Indian side. The second appreciation was the Pakistan is boiling with the law and order problems and insecurity everywhere. They have a political insecurity, they have a, this economical insecurity, they have a law and order problem in Balochistan, they have their own militancy and other problems, and there is a big thing tussle going between the civil government and the establishment. And establishment, when the chief of army staff of the army comes and addresses the gathering like a politician and starts talking about the two nation theory, starts talking about the Quranic verses, what he is misrepresenting or he is saying, and then he is addressing the diaspora and the intelligentsia of the country, and his that calling that jugular vein, this Kashmir, as their principal thing, that they cannot live without this one, that something could be expected from them. They are desperate, and they were desperate, and they are still desperate. So I think we were caught unaware on this one, and suddenly there is such a big thing has done that they know there are two things now which can really impact the people, the public, the Muslims I call. Why they, you asked me that why they identified the people with the religion and carried out this dastardly act. That was the reason, because they knew that here they identify Hindus and kill them. So naturally there will be lot of repercussions in rest of the country, and if rest of the country repercussions will be there, they will be it will be against the Muslims. So what he speaks, the journal has already said two nation theory. He wanted to implement that
And
thing,
sow these
ensure
seeds
that
of
this
hatred.
hatred, that this is something, because you see Pakistan, they know their own identity, their know this position, their strength, that they can't do anything with the territorial things or with the country, but they still believe in the thousand cuts. So they identified these things, that one thing, they will kill the tourists like this is going to certainly impact the financial aspect of the state, the people, their the incomes, their this progress, their development, everything will be impacted by that one. And the other side, on the rest of the country, it will be a Hindu Muslim, it will be a communal thing. So the grounds, I mean the atmosphere was very much available, the circumstances were available. Honorable Home Minister visited twice,
Yeah.
back to back he visited twice, and discussed the security matter only. So he had a feel, and our Honorable LG, he conducted 3 meetings, 2 meetings back to back he conducted for on the security this thing also, and very recently he came to the valley also. Here also he carried out conducted a meeting, security review.
And yet
For
you
this thing
say we
only.
were caught unaware. So that's something that I want to go a little bit deeper on. When you say we were caught unaware, what are some of the reasons why these incidents are happening? And I'll start with, there was an attack on army convoy. Again, Rajouri Poonch sector, you see that entire area has been disturbed. Rajouri, the Dangri killings that happened where terrorists walked into a village, again asked people for their identities, killed them, and then they left with no trace. So these incidents that have been happening, in which terrorists are infiltrating, they're conducting targeted killings, and then they're vanishing basically, and we are left with search operations for days and days, and yet casualties of innocents is way more than the number of terrorists who get caught.
But you have yourself explained a lot of things in this one. Basically, with this abrogation of 370, the lot of deployment was there in the valley, and circumstances were such that a lot of people started rethinking also. And ultimately, with the normal pressure of the governance, pressure of the forces, and good governance, firstly we controlled the local destant pelting, which gave us a very secure atmosphere to carry out our business, to carry out day-to-day work, and that was a very big relief perceived by every common man. I tell you, even a person like me after the retirement, I was very scared to travel. Some certain occasions, it was surprising that I had to travel midnight from this place to Baramulla. Such was the atmosphere of the stone pelting and that terror
fear.
on the fear on the roads. So that was a very big relief for a common person. And when the common person, ultimately the business, ultimately the development and other things. Now, seeing that Kashmir, which they had actually made so volatile, now has calmed down, and culture and nature of a Kashmiri person. He is not a warrior. He reconciles to the situations. And when he gets a chance again, he can recoil back also. So, first thing that he reconciled to the situation. So, knowing this thing that they tried every bit to again provoke the local, they motivate the local to come up and this, I mean, protest against the government, against the abrogation, other things, when they failed in that one. So, they diverted their attention towards the other side, I mean Pir Panchal and this Chenab Valley. Because Pir Panchal and Chenab Valley, operationally, tactically, they are the widespread areas, contiguous right up to border, I mean LOC, and hilly, tough terrain and thick jungles. It's all spread out. Normally, if I am to plan, I need a big force to really spread in whole of the area. So, what they did was the first thing that they started infiltrating the people, because knowing this thing, the Kashmiris are no more coming up. So, they started infiltrating those guys who were very well trained, either from the forces, the regulars, or the persons, the ones who came back from either your Afghanistan and other this your those sectors.
So talking trained
Yeah,
militia.
so they were the real trained, battle hardened, you can see. So they had the training, the practice, and to survive in the areas in the jungles and these areas where they do not get the immediate assistance from the locals. To my best knowledge, the infiltration was made via Pathankot and Punjab area, not via the Kashmir LOC. In these areas, they do not get much sympathy and much support also.
There's no local support, yeah.
Support also. They at their own. They carried out the recce, they carried out the operations, then that was the reason. Firstly, you said that lot of our casualties, because they were battle hardened, they were very well trained, and they availed of the opportunity was with them. The surprise was with them. Selection of the place was with them, and our forces, they were moving in the general area of that as they used to move. Somewhere there were some deficiencies and consequently those losses. We have seen that firstly very less casualties on their side, militant side, and then either we had to abandon the operation and they just because they are thorough, they are familiar with the terrain, they could move and our forces could not catch up with them.
But what about Baisaran Valley? What about Pahalgam? Because this is not near the LOC. This is not near the Indo-Pak border. It's an area which is like, if you've seen the videos of the place, it was an open spot. They came, they killed people, and then where did they vanish off to? How did the terrorists reach that place? And do you really believe there's no local support for this incident as well?
Sure. I had been a DIG of this area, South Kashmir also, and a very tough time, militancy time. We had, I think, me and Mr. Bhan and Mr. Farooq, we had two lives in that one lives also. When the things started normalizing, and even before that, we had gone for very well drawn out SOPs. Means firstly, even these areas, when they were not visited or frequented by the tourists or the others, the local used to come, but still we had planned a good SOPs of the protection. Those SOPs are still in force. They are still in force and they are available. And secondly, when operations were on in Doda, casualties had happened and contact was established and they had vanished as usual. So, They were in the search operation. I think had I been in command, I would have put a block on this site, because it's a contiguous area from Doda to this Pahalgam. It's a contiguous area. You have a lot of connectivity. They covered by hills and this forest, where generally you are not observed by locals or other people are there. And naturally, the winter had already gone and snow had started melting. The a lot of frequent travel was also not there. So, I think the first thing was that failure, that they failed to put a block somewhere on Mati Gavran, somewhere on Kukurnaga, somewhere near Pahalgam, so as to deny, scatter or deny that approach of these militants spreading into, are taking even protection in this area. That was one. Second thing, I'm told that Bison was closed for few years, and only last year or so it has been opened up to the tourists. And the normal drill which states that any area which is frequented by tourists, even if it has been recently opened or it is already in use, like maybe Betab Valley or Adu and other things, our security forces are deployed there, police is deployed there, and local, under the guidance of local police only they work. They have early morning, they drill. Their first is ROP, means opening up the road, securing the road so as to deny there is any ID, or identify any ID or look at anything, and make the road secure. And then the places which were to be visited or which are to be frequented, secure them also. Carry out a journal view and even the journal visit to that place, and then of course placing some good pickets or protection, this during the day we call it day guard or something, in the interiors of the area. I'm not sure what, because I couldn't get any details what was deployment there, what was there. I did not find, had there been some deployment, firstly they would have not been able to make an entry from that place, and secondly, had this incident happened, there would have been a retaliation, at least neutralization of all the people. So, there is something that I think the concerned officers, the controlling officers, they must be certainly looking into
There
that.
must be certain
There must be
security
certainly
lapses that are.
lapses, and I think this thing, unfortunate thing has happened, so as to see that nothing such thing happens in the future also. The accountability has to be there. Accountability has to be there.
But the second part of the question was regarding, do you really believe that there was no local support involved?
You see, now the people do say, I think some reports also security say there was one person from local person who used to assist them, might have been there, because that local, what they speak about is, has left this place I think about 5-6 years back, and went on some valid documents and got settled there, and has re-entered via some LOC, I do not know from which area, and his services would have been utilized, and a person who has gone to that place and stayed there for 6 years is a really motivated person, is really a battle hardened. He is not a he cannot be called as a local Kashmiri militant. He could be called a terrorist. A terrorist doesn't belong to any place, a terrorist doesn't belong to any religion. He could be a terrorist like that, as the other 2 or 3 terrorists were there. So, they make like that only. But one thing is there with the Kashmiri Pandits in the beginning. That time Kashmir was under such a depression, and people were so scared and afraid, not a single person could raise his voice. Even though, if you appreciate, the families who were the neighbors of those Kashmiri Pandits, they used to cry, the local Muslims here, they used to cry, and when the Kashmiri Pandits, they stayed in Jammu in tents, they used to travel all the way from this place and stay with them in the tents and sit together and cry together. But they never had the that much of courage to come at condemn it or stand against those militants. Firstly, there were some other these reasons also, and they were well armed. The Kashmiri had never seen an arm, they had never been used to arms these problems. I remember before the onset of militancy, there was one murder in Nishat. One Nepali, this servant had killed the house lady there, and it was a big news in whole of the state, and whole police went and they arrested him from the Delhi. So after that, under those circumstances, they were scared. They did not do that one, and we got that inflicted that our thing that we could not save them. But this time, the whole of Kashmir has risen. The whole of Kashmir has come up and they have protested, they have condemned it, and outright on the streets, people have come, youngsters, elderly, and every people, and they said, "Dahshatgardi band karo." It was not earlier possible to call a person as Dahshatgard. They were called as militants, not the terrorists. Now they said, "Dahshatgardi band karo, dahshatgardon ko yahan se nikalo." Can't you appreciate that the change, the feel the people have got, the sympathies people have got, the amount of hurt they have got, the Kashmiris, and they have come up now condemning, and I'm sure about this one that at this stage that there is going to be a U-turn now, there is going to be a now clear message from the Kashmiris that no more we could be used as a your cannon fodder for this injuring or this causing hurt to the India.
Just following on this line of thought, there's also different perspectives that are coming in from the rest of the country in which they're saying, oh, the Kashmiris are condemning it now only because it's tourists. If it had been like other non-locals, which there were some targeted killings of non-local laborers in Kashmir, nobody cared that much and nobody spoke up that strongly against it. They're saying they're condemning it only because they're tourists and because tourism industry is very strong in Kashmir and because it hurts their livelihood. That's the only reason they're speaking up right now. How much of that do you
I tell you,
is
ma'am,
true?
this if you appreciate this one, Kashmir tourist industry is only 16% of our this budget, our income, our it depends on this tourism. Our 60% depends on our horticulture. So when I say 16%, 14 to 16% people depending on this tourism, trade and tourists, does not make enable rest of all the people, 100% people coming up. Not even a single person is there who has not condemned it. People from the village, from the remote village, who are not connected and concerned about this tourism. You see, tourism, you could have seen the Srinagar people, you could have seen the Pahalgam people, you could have seen the this Sonamarg people. What about Baramulla? They do not have anything about tourism. What about Kupwara? What about Handwara? What about this Pulwama? What about other places? When the people have come up, because they are really injured, sentimentally so hurt, then and they have thought that now this is the time we should come up, because our pride has been now demolished and hurt, and they have put us in such a situation when we can face rest of the country, the people from the rest of the country. If somebody is saying like that it is because of this thing, otherwise Kashmiris are not concerned, otherwise they are not hurt about this casualties. He is not speaking my cause, he is not speaking my India cause, my national cause. He is speaking some enemy's cause, because enemy wants to create this thing. After abrogation, this atmosphere in the valley, Kashmiri people as a public, they were hurt, because they said that when we were under distress, the rest of the country has not owned us. You see, that's a feeling that rest of the country has not owned it. It's not the administration, it's not the forces, it's not the this government. They say the people, civil into this people, they have not owned us. They have not
like
spoken
when there was the
against us.
internet shutdown, nobody
nobody was
raising protests and
so
asking
nobody
why.
said कि why Kashmiri ke saath hi hai. They thought that we belong to India, we belong to this nation. The people should have come up and stated some sympathies they should have shared with us. So they just remained silent. They did not share at all. That is a grouse. Now in that grouse, once they have risen now, and they have stated, yeah, we belong to you. It's not that a person who has come from Kerala or who is from Maharashtra who has got killed. It's my brother, it's my sister, it's my daughter, it's my son. People have been saying that they have got killed. They have been killed here. So that atmosphere should not be vitiated now. At this time, this is a real occasion when rest of the country should also come up and appreciate the feelings which Kashmiris are expressing. They are not expressing only, they feel it. They really feel it, because we have been talking to public in general, and the some small problems like with the students and other things, what is happening in some parts of the country. I think we should be very cautious about this thing, that they should not get flared up, they should not get spread out, and the atmosphere which is now building up, I think we should very nicely and with lot of delicacy we must carry it forward.
That's a fair point, but I would really be doing everybody a disservice if I didn't take into account your policing experience and delve a little bit deeper into the operational details, right? Do these terrorists now operate with much more sophisticated technology? Previously, they would use satellite phones, which could easily be intercepted, but now they're using modern technology, which is harder to trace. And our forces, even though they're trying, there's a lot of technological catching up to do. And on the other hand, the army has somewhat become complacent in Kashmir because everything was normal for a while. How much of that do you believe is true, and what
I
reforms
think,
need to happen?
you see, there is no doubt that militants have also got equipped with the latest gadgetry and the communication system, because these systems which are available in the market, the manufacturer doesn't bother about who is using it. Manufacturer and the suppliers are bothered about their sale proceeds and not about who is using what for, they are purchasing, what they are using for. What gadgetry and what technology is available to forces and we people, the same is available with them also. And here, to use the technology, I have the experts, I have the qualified youngsters, I have the qualified officers. The people who are the motivated, what I have heard, they motivated these militants, they are not that educated, but they use the technology. They have been trained on that one. It's why I say, if one of the guys who had this gone to Pakistan in 6 years back, now he is back after 6 years, means 5 6 years, he has got through some this training and other things. Might be about this thing. They have experts in this IDs, they are expert in weapons, they are expert in communication and tracking and everything. They are also utilizing those facilities. At the same time, the facilities now, the satellite phones and other things are, they keep them in real contact with their bosses, their mentors, and who are the actual people who are planning. They supply with them them with every detail and everything every moment. Earlier militants used to, the Kashmiri militant, he used to be got recruited and carried taken to some place for a week or so for the training and then put in the job. तब जाकर उसको मार डालो, उसको hit कर दो. It's no more that one. They are the real guys who are either the regulars from their Pakistan or those from the battlefields in these conflict zones. Now, we should be very cautious, and they have been doing this damage. As far as our own complacency is there, of course, you know, when the long drawn battles, because they have been changing them. They have, many clusters of the militants have been neutralized. They have been the ones who were in 80s, 90s, one who were in early 20s. They are no more there, but forces continue to be like that. Forces are regularly there, and sometimes the fatigue action is also there and complacency is also there. And here I say the accountability part of it, because in forces and other things, it's the command. In command, you see, what we have also been doing is that troops are similar everywhere. Whether you say police, whether you say army, you CRP, whether it's the commanders. And commanders see that, they appreciate, they realize, they feel the responsibility, and they take the initiatives. So somewhere there has complacency has happened.
And what do you think is going to be the way forward?
Anywhere, wherever you have the insurgency or disturbance, it flourishes or carries forward only with the help of the local people and public, maybe 50%, 30%, 80%, 60%. Without that support, it cannot survive. And this time, what sentiment has been created in the now Kashmir, especially I do not say Jammu and Kashmir, but the Kashmir especially, because they say कि हमारी आन पर आँच आई है, हमारी कश्मीरियत को आँच आई है, हमें बिल्कुल नंगा कर दिया है कि they cannot. The Kashmiris are supposed to be the best hosts. They are the people I can, even though something has happened in the past also with the Pandits, but they are the most secular person in the Kashmiris, and it has really hit their this pride. So this time it is a big resolve. Maybe I cannot, you may appreciate that people who are at the front could be about 50%, 60%, but maybe 40% are sitting there. But for those 40% will be also carried along by this 60%, and now the people will stand against them. And they would not get any local protection, they would not get any local support. And once the people are up in their arms, that they will say no more. I think things will start changing. Then it's only the tactical move of the government, then the appreciation of the government. We have got a very good, battery of good officers in IPS, in CRPF, in BSF, in Army, and everywhere. We have got very good commanders. Those commanders can sit down and appreciate then how to do this thing, and they will be guided by the best possible, political brains at this time are there. And I see something, maybe year or two or something like that, we may get rid of this one.
Do you think the kind of decisions being taken first with the Indus Water Treaty and then with Pakistan retaliating with the similar agreement, and then again the decisions being taken right now with chants of like maybe there should be a war and there should be a one and final end to it, do you think that is the solution?
Indus Water Treaty, its suspension at this time is a big relief to Jammu and Kashmir, because it was at our cost. It had been done. Whoever has done it,
and all the politicians had been wanting it revoked since ages.
But at the same time, I do not, as a practical man, I'm an engineer also, basically. I do not find immediate impact of this thing, because how am I going to stop the Sindh water? How much I can get stop it? There are tributaries. If it starts from the, entering our Leh, and from Leh it goes to Askardu and there Pakistan, and in between there are another 50 tributaries which are joining it, and they are making it the bigger Sindh, and I do not have any provision to stop it. How much I can stop it, or where I can divert it? Even if Government of India starts at this time diversion or something planning that takes another 2 decades. So that's not going to create an impact. But of course, internationally, such a trusted treaty has been suspended. That's an impact.
So it sends a message across.
That's a message across in with that one. And the second, of course, these are the normal things where there is thanda garam वगैरह, तो 5 diplomats out कर दिए 5 days. This is a normal process. Well, now the things which everybody says होने वाला है. क्या होने वाला है? We do not know. And if we know, then it's not होने वाला है. Then it's not a surprise, because होने वाले का always a surprise has to be there. Unless until surprise is there, it cannot have an impact. But normally going for a war or something at this stage, I do not see something such a big on conventional wars or something like that happening. But people, India, the government and the commanders and the politicians, our Prime Minister, he could take a decision. The limited things like when we did in Bangladesh 71 war, we had already the eastern part of the Pakistan in our lot of influence. If something like that is to be done, do we have anybody there in our influence or something? And I do not see, to my extent, I am unable to at this time imagine what it could be next. But certainly We have one of the best armies of the world. We have the best possible arsenal with us. We have the best possible pilots in the Air Force with us and the Navy. And whatever decisions I am certain the government of India will take, that the forces will certainly deliver, because with the able commanders, with the able forces, they will do it. And could be a limited one, something as a deterrent, they will have to do it. But we will have to only remember one thing, that if we involve Pakistan at this time in such a battle, as such a thing, they don't have to lose anything. That is their problem. That is the thing. They don't have to lose anything, because they have lost everything. They do not have anything of their existence. They are desperate at this time. They are politically desperate. They are strategically desperate. They are economically desperate. They don't have to lose anything. They may do. They may go to anything. So there must. I am sure there must be a lot of thinking in this one.
And then finally, the TRF, the Resistance Front, which initially claimed credit for this this ghastly attack in Pahalgam. And then soon after, it said that, oh, our pages have been hacked and we do not claim credit for this and we did not do this. How do you see that shift? Because previously also there are a lot of terrorist organizations.
It's not the first time.
Yeah.
It's not the first time. The first thing, when Maulvi Farooq Sahib was assassinated, they said it's not we people, ये हिंदुस्तान के एजेंटों ने किया हुआ है. Then every killing they did of every I mean the professional doctors, engineers, politicians, and good people, religious, these colleges of the Kashmiris, they always blamed that हमने ये नहीं किया.
So every time people got offended, they said this is not us.
Once they see, if you remember Burhan Wani's case, Burhan Wani's was one thing, glorification they had created, but after that took a very bad setback. And this time, when they have understood that the local Kashmiris have risen against it, they have not accepted it, so they immediately turned their this word back. हमने नहीं किया, ये हमारा hack हो गया था. It's just not there, because they have also got a feel now that they cannot do anything further here. They cannot think of doing anything without the local people, and if the local people do not support, they do not come up, they do not have anything.
And do they think the way Kashmiri students are being targeted or harassed or assaulted in rest of the country, that is going to have an impact on how continuous the support that the Kashmiri people are giving right now towards condemning this act and making sure that the perpetrators are caught and they get punished? Like, this support that Kashmiri people are giving right now, it's going to get less and less the more they see that Kashmiri students in the rest of the country are getting attacked, or they're still being looked at as people with divided loyalties.
I feel that you see, these are smaller irritations certainly, which irritations are based on maybe the religious things, maybe based on the Kashmiri identity or something. The sooner we are able to control it, the better it is. But these are the smaller, this point, I don't think it's going to impact the bigger resolve of the Kashmiris now. The bigger resolve of what we listen and what we see with the rest of the public, that they have to now stand by this one. They have to protect themselves, and they have to stand by this. So that thing is there, and but we'll have to be cautious, because this is something with the sentimentally attached, and already Kashmiris say, which I told you, they had the feel that rest of the country did not take care of us when we were in distress, under problems. So similarly, this could be also an irritation, but it could be, because if we know, in the this Kashmiris have a belief, and genuinely so, I too have a belief. The India is full of those people who are generous, because in general in Hinduism, the lot of tolerance is there, lot of accommodation is there. We have studied outside the state, we have experienced that one. That command, that people have still that belief that the country is full of nice people, genuine people with lot of accommodation, lot of skill or thought. So that always keeps them on this side of it, that expecting, basically that is the that very feel which make them hurt कि हमको इन्होंने क्यों नहीं किया उन दिनों में, when we were in distress they did not care. That was the feel. So that will continue, that feel has to be there. And I am sure that if certain good people, the people I refer to, the nice people of this, they are really acceptable to everybody here, they should come and give some statements that this is not on, this is not on, this is not the way we should do with the children here, because they are their students have intentionally come out from the Kashmir to see the India, rest of the India, study there, see their culture, see their accommodation, see their this goodwill. So that must be goodwill. They should go back with a goodwill and that a good impression from rest of the states.
Fair point. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
And clearly enough, it's pretty evident from the conversation and from the facts that are being gathered right now about security lapses. Questions are being raised about complacency and how such incidents keep on occurring in Jammu and Kashmir. This one was very recent, on a bigger scale, and in Kashmir Valley on tourists, which is why it has captured the attention of the people. Right now, the only silver lining is the way the people of Kashmir have condemned this act and have come out in complete support, opened their arms, and said that we want the perpetrators to be brought to justice, and we are with the rest of India when it comes to making sure that Kashmir is peaceful and Kashmir returns to being the vibrant and open place where tourists come to enjoy themselves and feel themselves completely safe while they roam around in the valley.